firstly, when I tell people about the job and how much I don't like it, the first thing they said, so my brother's friend who's a teacher, another girl I know who's a teacher, and then my brother, and I'm sure other people have this idea like, oh, why don't you quit? And it took me 2 years just to get this job. And what people don't understand is that when I send an online application, it's not being read and no one's reaching out to me. And that's what I would get asked by like my brother's friend, because she was a teacher trying to get me a teaching job. And I would tell her, hey, I just sent in my applications. And she's like, you haven't heard back? And I'm like, I have not heard back from anyone. And I literally been doing this for 2 years. And it's not like, 2 years and straight, but like I applied January, I applied in the middle of the year, and I even talked to this other woman who was at a school, and she worked at the flea market. She said she could get me a job, then she stopped responding to me when I came back to her and I was like, hey, I need help getting a teaching job. And that's why it's been super difficult for me to want to leave, because it's like, if I don't have this job, a lot of jobs aren't hiring, because I was applying to other places. I applied to Smoothie King, I applied to Rue 21, I applied to this place in the mall called Versona, and then I looked at other applications. I was gonna apply to Dunkin' Donuts and do the online application. I was even gonna try and apply to Navy Federal, and it's like when I put in these applications, no one responds. And then I had a job fair, which is like where I can see someone face to face in person, and hopefully that could get me the job. And it did. And that's the thing, like, people don't understand. I can't wait for a job fair that comes once a year just to get a new job. And then even if I get a job, is it going to be full-time? Is it going to be part-time? And the jobs I've been working have been part-time jobs for like $11 an hour, $10, and really $10 because they take out taxes. And it's not a lot. Now I have this job and it's full-time, plus I get $15 an hour. And if I leave it, I don't know when I'm going to have another job again. And people don't understand that it's hard to find a job. You can't just quit a job when you're like me with no experience. And I need a job to say I worked here for a year and I have a year's worth of experience. And people do not like that. They really don't. When they look at my resume, they don't like what they see. And I put in all the good words and I do well on an interview, but they still may not choose me because, again, it is racism involved. And I talked to one teacher. She's also a teaching assistant. And she was saying how, yeah, she's black. She was my mom's friend who understood. And then I talked to another woman who's a teaching assistant who's black and my mom's friend and understood. And I think they met in community college, both of them. And they both were studying like daycare, working with kids under 4. And then they really need to make money. So they're like, okay, I'll just jump into teaching assisting. And it's not a cool job. And when you see teachers, most of them are white. And a lot of these schools do not want black teachers working and dealing with teaching their children. That's how it is. And that's what my mom's friend said, but I'm sure you can find more statistics online about racism and jobs and teaching. And there is. Because when I'm walking down the halls for second grade and first grade and kindergarten, yeah, those grades, I see 3 white teachers and then 3 white teachers in the other hall, and the only black teachers I see are 2, and they've been teaching for years and they're older. And all the white teachers are young and they look more new to teaching, but they have that mean style of teaching, and they're white. And they get along with each other and their little white friend group. I'm not a part of it. And it's just weird to me how that happened. And it's like whoever's the principal is black and she still want to hire fucking white teachers. Even when I told her, hey, this white teacher is mistreating the kids, I have a degree. I'm able to be a teacher at least for a year, a full year, and she still doesn't want me in a position. As well, I can be a teacher for a second grade because the second grade teacher left after 3 days. And instead of being like, hey, we have this position open, why don't you try it? They get an older woman who works at the school to be a substitute. Then they get this woman who was the inclusion division or fifth grade teacher to work and be a substitute. And then they get some random woman who is mean and just like this Indian substitute teacher. And I'm just like, you do know I am a fully available staff member. And I don't like the principal after I had that conversation with her. And she like switched my job position. And I really want to leave the school just by that alone because I think that's on some bullshit. But I can't just leave a job the way I really want to because the pay is going to be good. And the position is pretty stable. I wake up, I clock in, I work 7 hours. And there's benefits to that. And it's hard for me to even get a job, let alone keep a job. Because it's like every time I find a job, it's like they treat me shitty. And then I want to quit. And I haven't been even able to save my money. Because when I get a job, I just think, oh, I'm going to have this job. They're going to treat me nice. And then I don't think about saving because I expect myself to have this job for like another 6 months and a year. And then that doesn't happen. And I get really dropped off after like 3 months. And it's just been really hard for me keeping a job. And I'm really tired of like quitting jobs for these past, technically like, I want to say since I was 18, I've been trying to find work. So 19, 20, like 5 years. And I'm really tired of it, and I really want to just have a job and keep it because it's getting annoying, like, having a job and not being able to keep it and have money and not having any consistent income and not really feeling like an adult. But I know times have changed, and getting a job that treats you well is not really possible. And if I leave this job, it's literally not my fault because they are just so shitty to the kids and even to me as like a staff who's trying to help. And I don't like the job, and I don't like people telling me, hey, you should try to transfer. Hey, you should look for another position within that school. Hey, you could look for a position within another school because like I've been doing that and these jobs are not hiring. They're not looking at my application unless I'm literally in front of their face, knocking on their door like, hey, will you let me in? And I'm not gonna keep doing that. I don't have time to do that. And I have a job right now and I'm gonna try to keep it even though I don't like how it treats me. But I'm sick of it. Like, I really am. I feel like all these jobs are fucking shitty to mental health and they don't care at this point. So, yeah, I don't like the job really. I find it to be like absolutely disgusting that there's someone who's working, who I work for basically, and they're 23 and I'm 23. And in a way, it's like we're at 2 different levels, but really we're at the exact same level because I could literally have her job. It's just that when I apply, no one wants to fucking hire me. But when this white bitch applies, people hire her. Or maybe they're like in my position and they've been searching for schools and this was like a school that just hired them. I don't know how it worked, but it is hard to get a job. It's hard for the principal to even care enough to like say, hey, you should have this position. And it's even hard to even find a principal that I like and I want to work for. Because this principal at this school, I don't like her. And it's been like 2 fucking weeks and I already hate her ass. So it's just hard. But I'm going to keep the job and see how long I can keep it. I'm going to get paid soon. And that's that.